Hello, and welcome to Roly Poly Weight Loss. I'm your host, Roly Poly, and we are here on day 3. So, we're going to get going. I have a new app I am trying, and if it works, I will review it in a future episode. But let's see. Okay, so Day 3. Day 3 is actually the hardest day. Yeah, I'm just kidding. So, day 3 for reals. So you might have noticed in the past that I was wearing a Fitbit, and you might have noticed today that I am not. You might also have noticed the lovely swag on my ankle, and that is what I am talking about today. For those of you who don't know, the Fitbit is an exercise and movement tracker, and it usually works by being on your wrist because you swing your arm and your wrist when you walk. But when you are sitting down to exercise, as I have been, that doesn't really work, as I discovered when I first broke my toe. Now, you can attempt to swing your arm while you sit and pedal, but it's awkward. It doesn't feel natural the way it does when you're walking. And for some exercises, like riding a bike, you can't do that. Although I have gotten plenty of practice, because when I'm in the grocery store, I have found that wearing a Fitbit now, I try to always make sure that hand is free so it can swing. So I'm pushing the cart like this, so I can swing this arm and get it to count. So I don't know, maybe there's some upper body workout going on, at least on one side, that comes from wearing the Fitbit on your wrist. But when you are doing an exercise where only your legs are moving, and it's a little awkward to try to get your arm or hand to move, even as much as mine moves when I talk, there's a good alternative. So at the time that I broke my toe, I had been walking 7,000 steps a day, and I really didn't want to break that streak. So I found a solution, which was to attach it to my ankle where the steps actually happen. Now, the only downside I've found is that I don't get as many steps with this method as I do with actual walking. When I was walking before I broke my toe, I would complete that 7,000 steps in about an hour and 10-15 minutes. And once I broke my toe and was using the pedaler method, it took me almost 2 hours to hit that 7,000 step mark. And I'm not sure if that is because of the change in my gait from walking to pedaling, or if the small cycles make it easier to miss a beat every so often. I'm not sure. So the method isn't exactly perfect. So just either way, whatever the reason, be aware that your timing will be different than you're used to. And that's my water alarm. Okay, so the first thing I did to put my Fitbit on my ankle was I used medical tape, because thanks to my toe, I had an abundance of it lying around. And this works pretty well as long as you don't get too sweaty. Then it tends to come off on the edges and your Fitbit starts flopping around. I also found that when I was wearing socks and shoes, I could put it around my ankle and pull my sock up to hold it in place. And that works fairly well. But one of the advantages to this particular machine is that I can do it barefoot, which I prefer. So that is where the tape came in. And then I developed a better system. I got these sweat wicking headbands from Amazon. You can see up here as well. And I got 10 of them for about $15, $16. And they're great. They can go really wide, and then you can also fold them over. And you can double them and wrap them around your ankle and just tuck your Fitbit right inside. And it stays on like that perfectly. So not only do they work as headbands or wristbands, but they also do a great job of keeping my Fitbit in place on my ankle. So I recommend these. They're very fun. They come in different colors. You'll see 10 different colors if you keep watching new episodes. So with that life hack, hopefully you have your Fitbit ready to go while you exercise. Now I want to take a minute to talk about my actual Fitbit, because I will use that term pretty much always as my generic, like Kleenex. But there are a ton of alternatives to the Fitbit now. I got mine back when there was really just Garmin and Fitbit kind of out there. And before that, I had a little dollar store type pedometer that clipped onto my pocket. Unfortunately, it wasn't super accurate, and it would fall off or slide into my pocket, or the buttons would get pressed to reset my number for the day. It wasn't great. Wasn't huge on it, but it was what I was using to try to keep track of what I was doing. And then, water break. So then the Fitbit came out, and I was a little behind on this trend, mostly because of money. And despite having foregone a watch for several years at that point in favor of my phone, I found myself wearing a watch again in the form of a Fitbit. Although my first one, the old school one, didn't actually tell the time. It just had little dots. So, but having something on my wrist again was definitely odd. But, you know, that's the way our direction moved. Now, one thing I love about the Fitbit, which I find important when picking a fitness tracker, is the app that comes with it. I know that you would think that would be the least important part. It's the most important part. With the Fitbit app, you can pick different stats to display. So up top, the main ones, I have it showing steps, miles, calories, minutes, and floors. Now you can change these to be American or metric measurements, and you can change which one is the dominant one. And you'll find some Fitbits, my first Fitbit, didn't show floors because it didn't have an altimeter to measure how many floors you went up. So there's different stats for different Fitbits and for different configurations that you want. And then below that, on the lower half of the screen, I've got the option to display different widgets. And so the top 4 I have picked are movement, sleep, water, and weight. So I picked, for movement, the range of hours when I would like to be active based on my schedule, meaning I want to take 250 steps in that hour. And you can set it to give you a little reminder every hour to hit your goal. And that's just a way to get you more active during the day. It also analyzes my sleep if I sleep with it on. And I can track obviously my weight and my water there. Some Fitbits will track your heart rate. That's another widget you can have. There are several options, and you can go through and customize for the one you want. Another thing with Fitbit is you can compete with friends in challenges, which my sister and mom do with me because we all have Fitbits. We can compete for total steps or percentage of goal in a day or a week or a weekend. So if you have people with wildly different goals, the percentage one is really good because it's a matter of fulfilling your own goal, not hitting someone else's goal. So that's really nice. And there are a few other challenges like that. So it's a great way to motivate each other, and we can share our goals and successes in the app. It's really fun. So furthermore, The Fitbit app can actually work on its own just using the metrics on your phone as long as you keep it in your pocket with you. It will feel this movement here and pick up your steps in that way. It isn't as accurate as wearing the actual band, and it can't track all the things that the Fitbits themselves can necessarily, but it's a great way to figure out your baseline before getting an actual device. Or if budget-wise that's just not on the table for you for a while, you can use your phone in its stead. So I'm going to link to a couple of articles that actually compare some of the different options out there, Fitbit, Garmin, and some of the others. And you should see which one has the metrics you want and the app perks you want and fits in your budget. So as I've said, I chose the Fitbit, but there are options, and you should pick the one that will motivate you and track what you want to know. I've looked at some, and I was like, why would I need to know that? I don't care about that. And some of the fancier ones that are trying to compete with like the Apple Watch have all kinds of extra features like getting phone calls and text messages and all of this stuff that I do not need from my Fitbit. If you need that from your Fitbit, fantastic. This site will compare those things for you so you can see. Do a bit of research. Because even if you pick a specific company like Fitbit or Garmin or one of the others, there's still a great variety amongst the products they have. So do a bit of research before springing for an actual activity tracker to find the one that fits you the best. So there were several options, even just among Fitbit, that track the metrics I specifically want. And I have changed my needs and my tracker over the years. As I said, my first one early just had the little dots, and I upgraded to one that actually would track with an altimeter my floors. Back when I was living in an apartment on the 3rd floor and my office was on the 2nd floor of a different building, and I was doing a lot of staircases in my day, and I wanted to count those and have proof of those. So over the years, my needs in a Fitbit have changed. But for me, the most important thing, and the reason I went with Fitbit as a brand, are the achievement badges. With the Fitbit, you can earn daily and lifetime achievements in steps, distance, floors, etc. So if you hit like 5,000 steps in a day, 10,000, 15,000, 20, 25, 100,000 steps in a day, I did not believe it, but they have it because people have hit that. There are people who walk 100,000 steps in a day. I do not know how, it blows my mind. But that badge is there and I want it. Someday I will walk that so I can have the complete set of badges. So with the Fitbit, you have that motivation. If you are the kind of person, like me, who is motivated by shiny little badges, which I said when I was reviewing Plant Nanny, and water intake, I am motivated by earning stuff and by getting little badges or widgets or plants or whatever. That will motivate me. I want that little graphic that I can share. If you are the kind of person who is motivated by those kinds of things, then the badges are a great thing. They work for me. As I said, I have set myself goals on getting a badge. There were days where, for whatever reason, I was super busy and I was at like 23,000 steps. I swear I've done that. But I hit 23 and I knew that the next daily badge step was 25. And I pushed myself to get to 25,000 steps that day, despite how tired I was, because gosh darn it, I was getting that badge. I was so close, I was not going to stop short. So, as I said, for me, these are a huge motivator. and that is why I picked Fitbit. And the other fun thing, which I will show, is if you just hit all of your goals in a day, the whole screen, they spin around and it turns green and shiny, and you get, it shows all up. So just every single day, if you can hit your goals, you can get a little end of the day party on your app. So the small child in me really loves the Fitbit app. There we go. We hit 15. So you are actually going to see several Fitbit posts from me this month. In theory, every single day, I will be posting my little green end of day metrics for you so that you can see for yourself. This is because I discovered an event that I posted a video about on Tuesday, which is the No Zero Day May, which I hope you are already doing with me, because we are 2 days into May, but it is not too late to join in by any means. The basic idea is that you are active, the equivalent of a 30-minute walk every day in May. And if that is too much for you to go from 0 to that, then do something equivalent for you. Even if it's just, I am going to walk around my living room during the commercial break of my show tonight. Just that small amount of extra activity in your day, every single day of May. No 0 days. So that is the challenge. I talked my mom into doing it with me, and we are walking a 30-minute walk, a nice, slow, leisurely 30-minute walk every day in May, and we are keeping ourselves accountable by posting our Fitbit shots. So that is what we were doing. So you are going to see a lot of Fitbit shots from me this week, or this month, rather. So you can follow along or join in. Come on, join in with the hashtag No0DayMay. So this has been Roly Poly Weight Loss. As always, I am your host, Roly Poly, reminding you to follow along or join in with hashtag No0DayMay. And please join me next time.